First of all, yours the chair. The importation of cigarettes should be banned because smoking can cause harm to the smoker. According to the Center for Disease Control, smoking harms nearly to every organ in the body. This means that smoking may cause disease that risks of heart disease, stroke, and forms of cancer other than lung cancer. The article, the effect of smoking on your health says, and I quote, research has linked smoking of cigarette to an increased risk of developing age, unquote, related muscular degeneration, and optic nerve damage, all of which leads to blindness. This shows that harm caused by cigarette can affect almost every aspect of a person's life. Can you imagine not being able to see your friends and family, or having to adopt to participating in your favorite activities while not being able to see, all because of smoking of cigarettes? Secondly, yours the chair.
Radio Premier.
The reason why bringing and use of cigarette should be banned in a particular country is that smoking causes to the people around the smoker. The American Cancer Society states that, and I quote, an estimate 4,200 deaths from heart disease in people who are currently non-smokers. This shows that people who are breathing in second-hand smoke are suffering the consequences of smoking, even if they do not smoke. The American Cancer Society also says that smoking causes, and I quote, worse asthma and asthma-related problems in up to million asthmatic children, unquote. This means that people who smoke cigarettes are harming innocent children with asthma. My opponent, if this is happening, how should you allow your country to bring in cigarettes into the country? Thirdly, yours the chair. The importation and use of cigarettes also cause premature death to the smokers and the second-hand smokers as well. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the evidence that I support my reason is that around 443,000 cigarette deaths happen each year in US. Not only that, other people also have same death, and only few are caused by other diseases. If this is happening, why should the importation and use of cigarettes should be allowed? Moreover, yours the chair, the importation and use of cigarettes should be banned because pollution cigarettes add to pollution every day as people smoke them and release toxins into the air. Deacon Chronicle, but weapon is far less dangerous than smoking cigarettes. A uniquely deadly product in pollution from cigarettes leads to the destruction of the ozone layers, which will one day affect both the smokers and the non-smokers as well. Furthermore, yours the chair, the importation of cigarettes should be banned because when cigarettes are imported or used in a particular country, the smokers then smoke it and releases smoke into the atmosphere, which causes air pollution and which is harm to the human. Lastly, yours the chair, the importation use of cigarettes should be banned because it will lead to fluctuation of the nation revenue or waste of revenue, because when the smoker who smokes the cigarette is being affected with diseases, the government will use a lot of revenue in research of their medicine. If this revenue is being used Are we not wasting our resources? In conclusion, yours the chair, panel of judges, man of the chronometer, co-debaters, dignitaries, all protocols duly observed. With the above points stated, I call on you all to support the motion. The importation and use of cigarettes should be banned. I rest my case.
Bob Marley said, smoke that herb. It relieves you and shows your true self. Haile Selassie said, smoking may or may not kill you, but it's a chance of survival for other people. The chairperson, impartial panel of adjudicators, our very most accurate timekeeper, co-debaters, dignitaries present, ladies and gentlemen, a good day to you all. I'm the person of Miracle Cephas James, a second-year student from the Procurement and Supply Department, here to speak strictly and vehemently against the motion. I quote, this House believes that the use and importation of cigarettes should be banned. The chair, please help me to rectify something to my opponent, that this is a debate competition and not a reading competition. You can't just come here and stand here and read A to Z for us. It is a debate competition and not a reading competition. And secondly too, it's like all your point was just centered on talking about health problems. Is that the only thing you came up with? And if you even want to talk about health problems, I want you to know that cigarettes is like a drug. It is only when you abuse it that it becomes a problem for you. The first point I want to talk about is employment. Now, if there be a ban on importation and the use of cigarettes, it is going to lead to unemployment. Why do I say this? I say this because it is recorded that there's over 500,000 people that work in the cigarette company or the tobacco company. Now, if you insist that there should be a ban on the importation of cigarettes and the use of cigarettes, my dear opponent, what do you think would happen to these people? Will you fend for them? No. Will you provide shelter for them? No. Will you provide feeding for them? No. If your answer is also no, then I believe that you decide with me that there shouldn't be a ban on the use and importation of cigarettes. The second point I want to talk about is that it adds to the country's revenue. Now, it is also recorded that the country gains 16.6% of import duties when cigarettes is imported into the country. Now, where does this money go? It goes into facilities for the country, developmental projects for the countries. In 2019, $12.4 million came into the country due to the importation of cigarettes. In 2020, $13.3 million came into the country because of the importation of cigarettes. My opponent, if there's a ban on the use of cigarettes, will you provide this money for the country? Definitely not. If there's a ban on importation of cigarettes, will you provide the facilities that the country is getting from using this money? No. If your answer is also no, then I beg to differ with you. The third point I want to talk about is health benefits. Now, this is an unpopular opinion. Many of us think that cigarettes will just kill you, cause lung, but no, it is not. It is only when you abuse it, as I said earlier. And now, from the statistics I have here, it says that there is 7 more positive aspects of smoking, and I'm going to read it for us. Now, smoking lower risk of Parkinson's disease, it may reduce risk of breast cancer, lower risk of knee replacement, and a whole lot which I'll present to the Chief Judge. Now, my dear opponent, with all these infallible doubts that are presented to the House, if you still insist that there should be a ban on cigarettes, then I believe you are not even worthy to be a debater. The chairperson, impartial panel of adjudicators, our very most accurate timekeeper, my shaky and confused opponent, I believe that you will side with me that there shouldn't, and I repeat, shouldn't be a ban on the use of cigarettes. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and the House. It baffles me when my opponent comes out here, counting cacophoniously, telling us that with white and blue sheets that in the name of evidence, knowing very well that what you are just saying has something to do with life here. So my opponent, one thing I want to understand this evening is that smoking, smoking causes cancer, heart diseases, stroke, lung diseases, diabetes, and chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, which includes chronic bronchitis. Smoking also increases risk for tuberculosis. And here you sit down to tell me that when you abuse, unless you abuse it, if you don't abuse it, it doesn't affect you. My opponent and the house, I want him to understand something today. That cigarette was meant for, it wasn't meant for this country. Why do I say so? Because it was meant for where there's snow and then cold weather, for them to take for them to smoke the cigarette in order to release stress and coolness. But you and I, we live in this country. The heat alone is enough. Talk less of smoking cigarette. And you are here bluffing, telling us that they should smoke cigarette. Are you real? The house, I would like to address some certain issues. He made mention of tax. He made mention of revenue. That when cigarette is being imported, there's much revenue. It baffles me when you say so. Have you forgotten that Ghana here, they spend much money in treating cancer? So the tax that they have taken, they should use that money to treat again. Are you for real? This is for life. And life is at stake. And you are talking about money. If you have money and you don't have life, who will use that money? And I'm having an evidence here. They said more than 225 billion for direct medical care for adults. More than 1,506 billion US dollars in lost productivity. And you are here telling me in taxation that lost productivity worth 1,560 billion US dollars. Can that cigarette importation taxation that is being taxed pay that money? It's a big no. The house, I want to make a point here. And my point is that cigarette butt cause pollution by being carried as runoff to rain and then rivers. Why do I say so? The cigarette butt, when they smoke and then they throw it away, when it rains washes the butts away into the drains. And you and I, this country, we observe flooding day in and day out. And here you are telling me that we shouldn't ban cigarettes. Are you for real? While some smoke, he also says that smoking reduces stress. And I want to say something on it. While some smoke to reduce stress, research shows that smoking actually increases tension, not stress, my brother. So you are confusing yourself. Check on your records. Tobacco can provide an immediate sense of relaxation, but in the near future, it will cause you harm because it causes lung cancer. My brother, if you are here and you don't know what you are talking about, then better go and do your research very well. According to the American Cancer Society, smoking kills more people than alcohol, car crashes, suicide, AIDS, murder, drugs combined. Smoking causes 85% of lung cancer death. And you are here telling me that smoke gives us health? Are you for real? Think twice. And lung cancer is the leading type of cancer in men and women. You and I today, every day in and day out, we have a record that. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, the chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, I am Emmanuel Williams from the Procurement and Supply Department, and I stand here to speak as the Deputy Opposition Speaker against the motion, the importation and use of cigarettes should be banned. The chairperson, my opponent was of the view that the intake of cigarettes is harmful to the smoker and also to people around the smoker, that is passive smokers, of which I would beg to differ. I opine that nicotine, which is a substance found in cigarettes, helps ameliorate the Parkinson's disease. To talk of the Parkinson's disease, this is a disease of the central nervous system that impairs movement. And here is the case, nicotine helps ameliorate such disease. Again, nicotine also helps in treating the Alzheimer's dementia. To talk of Alzheimer's dementia, this is a disorder of the brain. When cigarette is being taken in, it helps people to release stress, of which my opponent admitted in his presentation or in his debate. Again, my opponent was of the view that cigarettes are being left on the streets and they choke our drains to cause flood. Here is the case: the size of a cigar stick is close to impossible to cause flood. Not to talk of the piece that is left after it's been smoked. Now, down to my main point. When cigarettes is being banned, when the importation of cigarettes is being banned, this will impair the operations of our rehabilitation centers in the country. Here's the case when one is addicted to whatsoever, any drug at all. I am not here to say cigarette is a drug, but should a person be addicted to whatsoever, we can't take a person off such an addiction instantly. You only help such a person in a gradual process. Should a person be addicted to such a thing and he is used to taking, let's say, 5 sticks a day, you can only help such a person by giving it to him but in a reduced prescription. That is, you give him or her thrice daily down to twice, once, till he is clearly taking off such an addiction. So should we ban the importation and use of cigarettes in our country, it will impair the operations of our rehabilitation centers. The chairperson, panel of judges, our great timekeeper, my opponents, ladies and gentlemen present. As I draw the curtains down, I would be very glad if my opponents side with me now, of which I believe they do, to boldly say that the importation and use of cigarettes should not be banned in our country. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. All right. So please let us give it up for them once more. Let us give it up for them. It has been nice. It has been thrilling. It has been entertaining. It has been educative. If you've been here all this while and then you've not learned anything new, then there is a problem somewhere. It's either you need prayers or you need psychological counseling. All right. Or you need cigarettes. Okay. So like I said earlier, I'll be passing the microphone round to take your submissions, either on the first motion or on the second motion. The first motion again is, this house believes that corruption is the only cause for a country's failure. This house believes that corruption is the only cause for a country's failure. You raise your hand, I bring the microphone to you. Tell me your suggestion or your contribution to this very motion. The next one that was just debated on between procurement and plumbing department is, this house believes that the importation and use of cigarettes should be banned. Is it pronounced cigarette or cigarettes? How? Cigarette. Cigarette. You know, the program that I'm offering, we don't do some of these phonetics, you get it? I am always connecting stuffs. Jot, no. I want to learn how to pronounce this word. Cigarettes, of course. So at least by the time that we leave this very room, we would have learned how to pronounce this very word. So if you don't know how to pronounce it, you are learning it right now. How is it pronounced again? All right, cigarette. Okay, so I'd like to remind our listeners out there, or even those watching on Facebook, that the studio lines again, 0247-819-113. 0247-819-113. You can send us an SMS, we do also read it for you. You can call and then we would answer for you to speak to your children that are listening in the room. All right. At this very juncture, has anyone a contribution to any of the two motions that have just been discussed as the judges collate their marks for us? All right. Immortal.
Good evening, House. I would like to make my submission in P. Like cigarette issue, very like I say, can ye? a debate in like procurement for no my idea pa the debate on the market to me to my opinion on market nti nyame onsho omo point near very clear and laudable because the obe jinana catch him say heart cigarette drug so abusing na obenya harm what you say and I obe say harm but say o taking no minimum and I taking in the right year any bad be a very good see that's my opinion. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this hasn't got to do with living legend. You see, when you have to do a lot of reading. When you buy cigarettes, Joe can attest to the fact. When you buy cigarettes, Joe, tell them, when you buy cigarettes, they do what? You don't buy some so you can't tell. Yeah, I'm giving you someone that you can reference from. Joe, tell them. But nobody knows that your name is Joe, so if you don't laugh, you don't shake yourself, no one will know that you are called Joe. So when you buy cigarettes, it's written on it that smokers die younger, smoking causes heart disease. They've not said when you abuse it or anything like that. You have a contribution to make. Okay. Any of the two motions, okay, has it either corruption or cigarette?
Hello, good evening to you all. My name is Priscilla Mpedu. I think cigarettes should be banned. One of the main reasons is mostly people just smoke this cigarette and then drop it by the roadside or in the bushes. And this thing creates a lot of fire outbreaks. It's one of the major points, okay? And then also, one guy said something about reducing the prescription of cigarettes for somebody. I mean, the person is struggling and he's in danger because this is health because like his lungs are going to be infected. And you are saying you should reduce it. I mean, the doctor will tell you that you have to take care of yourself and do this, go according to this. And you are telling him that you should reduce it and still take it.
Radio Premium 100.5.
All right, so she has expressed how she feels, or she has told us what she thinks. Okay, please, if the microphone gets you, don't be biased. Okay, just tell us what you think.
All right, I'm Ronald Imprin. Yeah, making reference to what the second speaker from PS said. Yeah, he mentioned a substance, nicotine, which nicotine is a major substance in cigarette, which causes addiction, but he was giving us health benefits. Yes, this is what, and the more you smoke it. Yeah, but for educational purposes, the nicotine that he was defending, he misinformed the house. Because yes. So the nicotine is the major cause of addiction. And the more you use the cigarettes, it causes harm to you.
Thank you very much, Nicotinus. No, I wouldn't want to give it to the debaters again. I mean, you had 7 minutes and 4 minutes to make your submission. Please, I'm about giving the microphone to President Tony. Don't be biased in your submission, okay? Tell us sincerely and faithfully what you think.
Good evening to the house. I want to talk about this house believes that corruption is the only cause for a country's failure. Whenever we talk about corruption, mostly we think about our leaders. We always think about politicians. But it's about time we also think that we are also involved in whatever corruption is about. Corruption starts from us as individuals, as citizens of the country. It's not just about our leaders out there. So whenever we talk about corruption, let's include ourselves and then make sure we work towards making it positive, not the bad way that we know of. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, President Honey. So remind our listeners out there again that you're live on Radio Premium 100.5 FM. This is TTU Debates. I can see our judges nodding their heads, signaling to me that they are ready to tell us who carries the day, who gets kicked out of the competition. Is it going to procurement or it is going to be plumbing department? So our judges, let's listen to them now.
So I would start with the comments, and I'm sad. It seems I'm repeating the same comment every time I come, and nothing is being done about it. please. So for the first debate by graphics, yes, I've seen this thing before, and I remember making the same comment. Your
Radio Premier
appearance in terms of body language is not encouraging at all. Yes, I am sure you might be down because your opponent didn't come, but that shouldn't have stopped you from debating. You were only telling us stories and speaking as though you were speaking to a group of people who have been gathered for an orientation. You did not argue at all, and you had very good points that you could have argued. And I was so disappointed. Please, this is a debate, and we need you to practice so well that, because we'll be taking you out there. So if you start this way, how would we go and defend the others? How would we go there and fight? Please. You had very good command over the English language, so I was expecting you to debate. You were so relaxed. Your tenses were very good. Your points were perfect. You raised your points very well by using the transitional devices. You used rhetorical questions, but they were so cold. So cold. At that moment, the AC wasn't on. So now you have no excuse. So by cold, I am being metaphorical. What I mean is that it was so down. Please. You were not preaching. Very poor eye contact. You made claims you did not justify. And that is not a debate. All the same, so your friends were generous to you. They gave you high marks. But for me, you scored just 44. Yes, I should have even scored something lesser. But the point that you were able to come here was good enough. So at the end, you had 156. And because you were not debating against anybody, you have migrated to the next stage. Now to those who were debating. I decided not to have scored those from plumbing because you did not have a chairman. You saw me sitting here. Even if I were too small, I would have considered. Look at my size. No, just look at my size. I am too big for you to call me a man. Yes. So I scored you -10. I even decided not to score. If you have any thanks, give to this lady. I wasn't going to score you. Which year are you? Level 200. And you have done communication skills. Right? Please, could you keep quiet till we go on? Listen to me. You did communication skills. And you did something on speech. And you saw a lady and you are calling me a gentleman. So I'll use your word. Are you for real? So I would repeat. If I was small, yes, I would say because I'm small. Look at my size. And you kept. And your expression. Yours the chair. That one to where from that one? Let's move on. Please, yes, your openings were very bold. You were very, very bold. Yes, that we understand. You were able to use the transitional devices. But you did what your opponent said, the written and read speech. You did not debate. You read to us what you have there. And this boils down to lack of preparation. You knew what you wanted to say, but I'm sure you did not do a mock audience. If you had done, you wouldn't have come to read what you had there. So again, if truly you went for your communication skills, you would have learned that there's something called the extempore speech, where you have the blue and white points on a sheet and you speak to your audience. So your faults are a lot. The first one is to look at a lady and call me a man. No, this thing should stop. It is not encouraging for a technical university. We are looking at merging both male and female. And if you continue to say because I'm a female, I should be called a male, Please, I feel so insulted. You got only 20 marks from me. Your friends were generous. They gave you marks. Some had 57, some had 46. I think I gave you 30 marks. So in all, you scored 135. Next time when you see a woman, you call her a woman. So to the next group, which is procurement, very bold opening. You debunked your opponent's points. Yes, you did well. You were able to provide evidence to support your claims. You rehearsed enough, which I saw. But there was a problem with the second speaker. I don't know if he was shy. You were way shy of me, because I was even looking at your direction. But if not for that, you would have scored more marks. But you looked too relaxed for a debate. There was a lady I saw, she debated very well the last time I was here.
100.5.
I think she was from ICT.
Radio Premier.
Painting. No. Yes. No. No. Yes. So I was thinking I was going to see her again, and we could use her as a yardstick to see how debate is done. First speaker, the principal speaker for procurement, well done. Keep it up. And the next team, next time, fortunately, I'll be here again next week. Yes, I will be here for the semi-final. I will be here. And this time, if you call me HM, I won't score anything. So procurement had 207 points, whereas plumbing had 135. Well done.
Okay, please let us give it up for all of them. Let us give it up for all of them. Of course, of course. All too soon we are about drawing our curtains down, and then, if not for anything, at least you've learned. There was a word you were trying to mention. How is it called? Nicotine. Nicotine. Yes, nicotine. So please, if you have no idea what that word is, try and then Google it out or try and search it when you go back. And then there was another word too. I think it has escaped me. Oh, not jot. And then we've learned how to pronounce cigarette. We've learned how to pronounce cigarette. Okay, so quick announcement. Next week we are having the semi-finals. And then it is between the Department of Sculpture and Marketing. Sculpture and Marketing. Very heated. And then we would have the procurement department debating against the graphics department. A must-watch debate, of course. So next week, God willing, same time, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., we have to be here to witness the debate for ourselves. The cadet, is it cadet group or what? The cadet is inviting, as in they are recruiting members. So if you have interest in the cadet, they are saying that they meet every Thursday, Fridays and then Saturdays between 4 to 6 p.m. So if you have any interest in the cadet, you do well to go to the hospitality department, the car park there. They meet there every Friday and then Saturday. So ladies and gentlemen, the program once again is TTU Debate. It comes your way every Tuesday evening between the hours of 7 to 8:30 p.m. I am your regular host. Today we've had a wonderful debate. Our judges have been on point. Our audience, we've had a packed room. Listening home, you've missed a whole lot. Now, if you have the interest to join the Debaters and Writers Club, we have Miss Asivi. Miss Asivi, kindly give us a wave. Yeah, that is Miss Asivi. You see her for the forms. You said, I can't say you. You've not heard. All right. So, my name is, and has always been Theophilus Teta1G. Be reminded that right after this program continues with Wocom Connect. Yeah, and they are also saying that there will be a heated debate here. But then, you know, that one, it is ladies. You get it? So you have ladies coming to stand here and then be like, hello, judges, my name is, You don't want to miss. Trust you me. You don't want to miss. All right. Until then, TTU debate ends here. Catch you same time next week. Until then, bye.
I don't wanna live my life for you, live my life for you. All over the news, all over the news. Only God and I know the kind of thing I do, the kind of thing we do. Man, I thank God I got the lead. Say God no ungodly. Oluwa I ain't comforting me. When these people they come body me. Man, I thank God I got the lead. Say God no ungodly. Oluwa I ain't comforting me. When these people they come body me. It's why I die sometimes. A little Henny